Hey, Sheri, if I look at my screen and all the little buttons that I have flashing right now, it says that we are live. That we are live for our 42nd Conversations with Sheri and TerryAnn.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Who'd have thought when we first got this idea we would still be doing this? This is episode number 42. And I don't know what it's doing on your side of the state line, but on my side of the state line, it is raining.
I know. I was thinking of that today, and it's all about the perspective of rain, right? But I'm looking at you, and I don't know if you know that you have sunshine on today.
I do. I needed sunshine today.
I was like, I seen you this morning. I was going to tell you that you have sunshine, and you got yellow, and you're almost matching your bear behind you. So there you go. You and Pooh Bear are getting some sunshine going on. So anyway, yeah, it is pouring rain, and it's all about what is your perspective of rain, right? We could even actually start with that, right? I love rain. Rain relaxes me. So I like rain. The problem is I'd rather be reading a book and sleeping, right? Good morning, Grace. Great to see you. I think before we get started, we might want to introduce ourselves, TerryAnn.
Oh, you think people want to know who we are? Well, then let's get started. Hey, I am TerryAnn Porter, life coach, TA. It is time to start to defeat those lies of negative self-talk by first changing your perspective, like we were just talking about. Change your perspective. Once you change your perspective, you will notice that there are some possibilities that you had not seen. Those possibilities lead to various pathways opening onto which you can choose to proceed in truth. My co-host is...
Good morning. Good morning. For those of you that don't know me, I am Sheri Berger, and I am the owner of Here to There Consulting. And we educate business owners with those tools to balance life, business, and finances so that you can create the life that you love in your business and your finances. And you will have much more growth, leadership, and success in the end. So welcome. I am so glad you are here. What is our topic today, TerryAnn?
Today, this is a good day for it because, rain does cause this in a lot of people sometimes. Stress.
Rain causes you stress?
Sometimes there are people that rain does bring on stress.
That is too funny. So today we're going to talk about how you handle stress. And if you're in the farming community where my son is a pastor, they've enjoyed the rain, but then some days they talk about, like you said, there's too much rain or there's not enough rain. And my sister-in-law and my son now, they're at two separate churches. She's at the farm, he's at the city, but they'll talk all about weather and how it affects people. And so I know weather will affect if you're stressed or not. Rain brings me comfort. I love rain. I'd love to just stay in bed all day, though. I find it very relaxing. I love to go walking in the rain. People are like, oh, no, you can't go walking. Yes, I love to go. Not the pouring down rain, the light rain, right? Which we've had a lot of pouring down rain. I don't know about you guys.
We have.
And I was so excited yesterday because I got my walk in between rains, I think, right? And I noticed that helps me a lot with stress. But how do people handle stress? That's what we want to know today is how do you handle stress when you get stressed out?
Something that I find that relaxes me is lavender, the lavender scent.
See, and that helps a lot of people. But did you know that one of my daughter-in-laws is allergic to lavender?
For one of my daughters, she will get from a headache to a full-blown migraine from it. But for me, this little thing in here has a little felt in it that I soaked in lavender. And I thought it was funny when I first started wearing it because my daughter was wearing one. And I would see her do this every once in a while. I thought, well, that's kind of weird. So I got me one. Every once in a while I'll be doing this. When I'm doing this, a whiff of that lavender.
Karen Reyes,
that works for me.
Karen Reyes sells those, and I have one of those as well. But those are great. Yes, those are great if you can do a necklace with a lavender in it, or you can run your essential oils. But one of my daughter-in-laws literally will have a full-blown asthma attack. We'll probably have to run her to the ER. So my daughters and I love to run lavender, but then we have to be cautious when my daughter-in-law might be coming around, which I thought was interesting. How would you be allergic to something that relieves stress, right? But some people, that wouldn't be a stress reliever. So what is it for you? What is the stress reliever for you?
So join in, give us some comments on here. We'd like to know what you guys do. What are some other things that you do? For myself, I don't necessarily like to walk outside, but I will go to the mall and walk around. I put on my headset, I put on a book, and I will walk the mall. It gets me away from the screen and the computer.
Yeah, and that's a great way. Exercise is such a, if you go to the gym, you're going walking. I like to walk or go swimming. Those are all great stress relievers. The funny thing is recently I've gotten a little bit of my walking and my exercise stuff taken away from me because I've had a lot of foot problems and now I'm in physical therapy for it. But then she started saying, well, you can walk a half a mile, which is nothing, right? But it's better than nothing, right? Mm-hmm. So a half a mile is better than, and if I can swim because of my ankle, which I've sort of been trying to argue with the physical therapy about that. But what can you do, right? And exercise is great. And deep breathing, literally at your desk. Have you ever just stopped and breathed? But I'm talking breathe in for 10 seconds, breathe out for 10 seconds. It's such a great way to relieve stress. And then when I talk about that, I think about meditation and prayer. And I know reading my scriptures can help me a lot. Putting your mind, what did you like to say all the time? Back in perspective of what's going on around you. Changing your perspective sometimes. And that's some other ways of doing that.
And you know, the getting out, the going for the walk, the stepping away from the computer, sitting down to read the book, the main thing that does is it takes you away from the stressful situation. When you step away from it, that opportunity to clear your mind, now you can refocus so that when you go back to it, there's a whole different way of looking at it now.
See, I like what Grace just said. Going for a long walk, just the outdoor, no music, no podcasts, just the great
outdoors.
Well, because then you hear those birds or those raindrops, or what sounds are you hearing, or what are you, right? And I don't know you personally, but when I can get quiet and get away from everybody and go for a walk, actually, that's my escape a lot of times, just go for a walk. And I get where sometimes I want to listen to my podcast, and sometimes I just want quietness, right? But that is the best time that I can get my thoughts correct. I can start praying to God, and you come up with some of the greatest ideas. Do you ever realize that you come up with great ideas in the shower?
All the time.
You want to know why? You're quiet. Some people listen to music when they're showering, but usually that's when you get away. And I'll tell you, as a mom, man, when I had a 3-2, a newborn, and a 13-year-old, I used to look forward to if I could just take a shower so I could breathe. Because going potty, I know you want to hear this. The kids don't leave you alone. They're all in there. And when you shower, sometimes you had to have them in there too. But if you could have a husband or a friend babysit, and you could just get that time away. And we so need it, even now that my children are adults, right? Currently, I have 2 daughters, though, that are living here. And it's great, except for last night. I needed some alone time, and they decided to have a party in my kitchen. They were cooking, which is fine, and it'd be fun, except for, are you overstimulated? And do you at this moment just need some time? So that's knowing yourself. I get stressed when I get overstimulated. Just too much is too much.
And today's world, there's a lot of overstimulation. We've always got the TV on, the computer's going. We can't even, going for a walk, we're taking our phone. We're still connected. Unless you leave it, well, now, I don't want to leave it behind. What if I need to call for help? Something you couldn't do 40 years ago, But at the same time, there's always this constant bombardment of information, of screen time, of so much coming at us that we need to get away from it.
But I like what Grace just said. Go for a walk, turn everything off. And
turn it all off.
You need to take your phone with you, which I do, but I put it in my phone in my pocket. And most generally, bad news, my phone's always on silent. People say, oh, I have silent in my phone. I'm like, I'm in meetings all day. I'm on Zoom all day. So my family always says, can't get a hold of mom. Yes, you can, because mom will call you back. And sometimes people think they have to constantly be available to talk. I mean, speaking of that, if I go out to coffee or go out to lunch with you, I will do this too. But, well, it depends. Sometimes we get together and we actually work. But my husband, if I go out to coffee or lunch, I don't be on my phone. I literally hang out and spend time with that person. So how about if you went for a walk and you literally let all the noise and spent some time with God or just even yourself? What can you do, right? I mean, and that's what I think we have to remember is to take a break.
Yes.
And breathe and realize that we can get away for a minute.
You know, you and I joke about coffee and tea and back and forth. It was interesting. I was reading some stress tips the other day. And one of the things it commented on was that if you are stressed, drinking coffee, Coke, the caffeinated drinks will actually add to your stress level.
So you mean I shouldn't drink a Monster drink when I'm stressed?
Probably not a good idea.
I think
Sheri, you are so hyper as it is. I don't think I want to be around you if you have a Monster drink. But that aside, know that caffeine and a lot of people, I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to drink my coffee. I'm going to relax. But is that coffee really relaxing you, or is it just adding more stimulation? I thought that was an interesting thing. And you know what? I bet we could find people on both sides of the fence on that one as to whether or not that is true.
No, it is true. My son who has ADD, the pastor's son, he likes his coffee. He's just like his mom. He's a good child like that. Ha, ha, ha. Picking on you. But he likes this. But he'll say, Mom, I know I can only have two cups or whatever it is. He knows his limit. Because he has ADD and he will get overstimulated with caffeine and he doesn't drink other caffeine. But do you know that your diet can create stress?
Yes.
So when you're eating those, what do you call them? Comfort foods? Or if you're eating lots of chips, brownies, I mean, you're talking about caffeine. That's not good either. And if you're depressed and you eat that, it gives you a high for a minute, but it actually adds also, there's studies that'll add to your depression because it becomes like a cycle too. But the foods don't make you feel good. What if we ate foods that made us feel good? I'm talking for long term, for real, right?
You mean chocolate?
We're eating
my chocolate high. If I just keep eating that chocolate, I'll stay on a constant high.
Well, dark chocolate is good for you, TerryAnn. But the problem
okay, good.
Do you
Oreo is dark. Okay.
They have studies that show. By the way, you have coffee in your cup. Don't even. So coffee is actually good in limited quantity, right? They even say that about like red wine, but people take that to extreme. So we can't go around being drunk all the time on red wine, and we can't eat all the chocolate that we want, and we probably shouldn't drink 3 pots of coffee, but 2's okay, right, TerryAnn?
Yes.
Yeah, right. You don't want to see me with 2 cups of coffee. Oh my goodness. So anyway, and then you'll love this, TerryAnn. You know what else is good for stress?
What?
Knitting, which you like to do and I do not. But yes, playing golf. They say watching movie. Do you know that TV, you were talking about having TV and noise. Do you know that that depresses me and stresses me out?
I can see that.
So I don't watch. People are like, you don't watch TV? No, I watch very little. I might watch about an hour before I go to bed at night. And it's usually a sitcom or something silly. But TV will stress me out. And if I'm not feeling good, the TV will be on, like if I'm sick. And the kids always know that I must be sick if our TV's ever on. I have one TV in my whole house. And that's how my kids grew up too. And I'm not big on TV. And TV will actually stress me out, depress me. And I actually personally struggle with anxiety and depression. So I have to be very careful about understanding what's stressing me out, overstimulating me, or causing. And I think sometimes you need to realize, if you look at that, what causes that? Guess what relieves stress for me?
What's that?
Christian radio. So I leave it on all day. Well, not really. My husband says when I'm working, I don't listen to the radio. And I don't, because based on what I'm doing, I'm trying to focus. So usually I like it somewhat quiet when I'm But you would think that, guess what stimulates me? People, because I'm an extrovert. I love people. If I'm around people, I get energy, right? And so that's great, but TV depresses me. So it's too funny if you start learning more about what works with you.
So that is interesting, is how do you stop to find out and make that determination of, when I am doing this, I find I am more stressed. And when I am doing this, I find that I calm down more. My answer to that is journaling.
Oh, yes.
Journaling is great to learn about yourself. Are you at a real stressful time? Take a moment. What are all the things that are stressing you out?
I call that brain dumping too. That's great. And then also, I believe in if you write Dear God letters. And then I'm going to tell you guys a secret. And I know we're recording this, so it's really a secret. When my husband actually makes me mad, I can write a letter, or my teenager. And then I can think it through, pray it through, reframe it if I need to talk to the individual, and do it in a more diplomatic manner. Because in that way, you're not saying what you really want to say, but if you put it all down, you get it out, and then you can redirect the way that you respond to that. Or even if TerryAnn hasn't made me mad, I'm just being funny. But let's just say that TerryAnn made me mad, which could happen, right? Even then, if somebody's irritating you and you brain dump it, then you can come back and put it in a better perspective. And some people are like, oh my gosh, I don't want to write a Dear God letter like that. I have bad news. God already knows what you're thinking and so you might as well just get it out, and that works well for me too. Mm-hmm. They say doing puzzles eliminates stress. That stresses me out. I like to watch you put together the puzzle. There you go. I'll hang out and talk.
The thing about a brain dump that I like about that, first of all, it's you've stepped away from the situation. Now you're looking at it as you're doing your brain dump. You're looking at it from so many different directions. You're almost able to take the emotion out of it, so that when you go back to the situation to speak to your husband or your child, whatever, you are responding and not reacting.
Yeah.
So you just said
exactly what I said. You just said exactly what I said, just in a more elegant manner. But yes. And that sometimes people are like, you do that? And I'm like, that's a great thing to do. And that way you actually have stop, process it, think it through, and go, how is this helping me create the life, or create the marriage, or create the relationship that I want with this individual? Are they annoying and not perfect like me? Well, yeah, but maybe it's not just them.
If they would just be more like me, it would be so much easier.
I know. My kids and my husband would act more like me. Oh, please don't.
Oh my gosh, a house full of me? No way. No.
But I thought it was funny when I Googled and I figured out what causes eliminate stress, putting together a puzzle. Oh no, I think that's so stressful. Like, what the heck? And like both my daughter-in-laws love to put together puzzles. My family, we're not really into we play games. So growing up, they were taught to play games and stuff, and they think that eliminates stress. Where my daughter-in-laws, who come from a different family, right? They like putting together puzzles, and I'm okay. I even get them puzzles, and I lay them out there. I mean, if I can drink my coffee, and hang out with them, or actually I'm probably drinking my water, but get to talk with them, that's fine with me, as long as you don't make me do the puzzle.
Oh, but that hanging out, that talking.
Yeah.
That can be such a stress release.
And,
just a simple conversation sometimes. And that's another thing that is suggested for stress management, is talk to somebody. I know at times when I'm in just really, really severe pain moments, I will sometimes call a friend and say, talk to me. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. Tell me a silly story. I don't care. But just enough to get the mind out of the moment. And stress works the same way. Get the mind out of the moment. So sitting down even if you're not doing the puzzle, sitting down with a friend, just call a friend and say, hey, let's just chit chat.
So my Bible study friends, they all like to do puzzles before Bible class. And we have it over at a friend's house. And so I'll go over there, like you said, just chit chat with them. And then they'll be like, Sheri, you going to do the puzzle? No, really, I'm not. But I'm here to hang out. And that's what I do. And watch them do the puzzle. Every once in a while, you get sucked into doing the puzzle, which, I mean, is okay because it's not about the puzzle, right? It's about, like you said,
it's about the time together. And you can have the mindless conversation can sometimes be more relaxing and actually sometimes even more bonding.
So I found a new relaxation that I love, TerryAnn.
What's that?
I learned about 3.5 months about it. 3.5 months ago, I learned about it.
What's
rocking
that?
my grandbaby. Look at that. Today I'm a grandma. What's your superpower? Rocking my grandbaby is very de-stressing. And the parents think it's stressful. Right?
Different situation.
Stop crying and we have to rock him to sleep. And we're like, okay, give him to us. And we can just rock him to sleep because that's not stressful. But being a parent with that can be stressful. But being a grandparent in that situation is a great way to relieve stress. Is that funny? Because it's about your responsibilities and your perspective in it all. Plus, I get to do it for how long? And then I go home and go do other things. Hey, we had somebody else join us. We have a Facebook user on here. I want to make sure they have time to say what they do for stress management or the things that cause them stress as well, right?
Do you ever find that you're stressed and not realize that you're stressed?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely happened. And usually you find out that you're not being the, I was just talking to you, you're not being you can say not being a good friend, but you are, or a good spouse or whatever, because you're stressed. But sometimes somebody else needs to say, hey, TerryAnn, it seems like you're really stressed out about. How can I help you not be stressed out about? And I actually sort of said that to you today, that I have a friend that's been very stressed out. And I'm like, I need to give her a call and see, what can you do? Even if it means you're going to vent to you and just relieve the stress in that. So sometimes other people will notice it before you notice it. You know what else can stress you out, TerryAnn?
What can stress you out?
Who you hang out with.
Oh.
Have you ever hung out with those people that are, what do you call them, energy suckers? That no matter what, and I'm not saying that about my friend, but I'm saying that about people in general. And you're just like, oh, this person just stresses me out when I have to hang out with them. But I think you have to realize, I always tell people when you're hanging out with people, you should always realize, how do you feel after you leave? Like you said, you have friends that you call and they tell stories, and how do you feel after they do that? They probably make you feel lessen your pain or change your perspective, or like
speaking of stress and all of this, I understand that stress is one of our conversations in an upcoming summit that you have going on.
It is?
Is it? Is it not?
We have a stress and confident coach that will be speaking.
That's where I got that information from.
On confidence, but she's also a stress and confidence coach. So yeah, we have Dr. Susan Harrison. She will be speaking on our e-summit, Purposeful Joy, and she will be talking about confidence and having more confidence in your life. But overall, the whole summit is going to be about creating the life and business that you love by having balance, right? So we're going to talk about networking. Some people think networking can be stressful, but what if you did it in the right manner? And that's what Kathy Weaver is going to talk about it. Mindset. TerryAnn will be talking about mindset, and mindset is all the perspective of how you're looking at things. So is that causing you stress? Sheri Berger, the one, the only here, will be talking about goal setting. Is it causing you stress not to have your goals in line? Do you not have a plan with them? So that would help you with stress. And then self-care and health and exercise. Judy Logner is going to be talking about that. And that will eliminate some of the stress in those areas. And then we have Marilyn Arnold. She's going to be talking about selling without selling. Don't you hate selling? How about if you sold without selling, right? So she's going to talk about doing soft sell and making it more about probably meeting people where they're at. I'm not Marilyn Arnold, but I know that she's phenomenal at that. And she'll be talking about that. And then we have Kim Myers. Kim Myers is going to talk about leadership and women. And sometimes trying to go in a leader role and being a woman can be very stressful. How about if we got some tips on how to do a better job of that? Can you let me know if I forgot any of our 7 speakers? Because that was just from the shooting from the hips, as my husband
I think that was everybody. You mentioned networking, didn't you?
Huh?
Did you mention networking?
I did.
Okay.
And Kathy Weaver just showed up when I mentioned networking. How great is that?
Why? How did she know? Yes, I do think.
And then Kathy Weaver just said, just being confident in the techniques takes the stress off you. And
that doesn't that make a difference?
Well, and that's what we're hoping this. Well, no, we know this E-Summit's going to do, right? And we have 7 amazing speakers that we went out and found in the community of Kansas City. Some people tell me they're from Missouri. I say, I'm sorry. Oh, wait, TerryAnn's from Missouri.
But anyway, the only one on the Missouri side of the state line in this event. All right.
I don't think so. I think Kim Myers is too. But we're not even going to start the rival of these are all my fellow coaches and fellow friends and fellow amazing women that we have on this E-Summit. And it's going to be great. And we really don't want people to miss out. And we made it $47. That's about the cost of what it's costing us to run this E-Summit. And if you sign up, tell them what they get, TerryAnn.
The first 20 people who sign up, we don't know yet what it is, but we'll be sending you a special gift.
And we're going to give you all the videos because TerryAnn's going to be the Zoom master, be videotaping everybody. And what do they have? All those videos will be out on my YouTube channel, and it will be private.
You'll have access to the full video recording with a private link through December 31st. So you heard Sheri speaking about goal setting, and a few days, couple weeks later, you think, man, Sheri had some good points. I don't remember what they were. You will have access to the recording so that you can go back and re-listen to Sheri. Hit pause and write down and start to take notes.
And you got handouts to take those notes on. Each speaker is going to provide handouts. So we want everybody to have takeaways from all these phenomenal, great speakers. And if you haven't heard of any of these speakers, you definitely want to be there. So anyway, and we have the link right there, right, TerryAnn, for people to sign up?
Yes, the link is right here. And we have organized this in a way to take stress off of you. For example, Friday night, we're going to meet from 5 to 8 p.m. But don't worry, you don't have to sit in front of your computer for that entire time because we've worked it out that each session within the hour will be approximately 45 to 50 minutes. That will allow you 10 to 15 minutes to step up, go in, make the kids a peanut butter jelly sandwich, start the dishwasher, throw a load in the laundry, and then come back in for some more entertaining information. We're going to do that on Friday night, 5 to 8, with 3 of the speakers, Kim Myers, Sheri, and myself. Now, our other 4 speakers are going to come back on Saturday morning, 9 to 1. Same format, so that you've got a chance to go in, make sure the kids, while they're watching cartoons, haven't killed each other, the whole thing. But we'll be finished by 1 o'clock. You know what that means? That means there's still plenty of time to go light the grill and have a barbecue with the family.
Could you share the flyer with all of our speakers on it really quick?
You want to see the flyer?
Well, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody too, just to be honest.
Well, let me switch my screens here just a moment. Takes a few more clicks here, and I can do that if I hit the right buttons.
And I like what Kathy Weaver says, sometimes networking can take stress away. And that's true. I know extroverts like networking, but are they networking right with a purpose? And then introverts, sometimes that's a little stressful for them to be networking. But I know Kathy Weaver has great tips.
Share screen. Let me find the other one.
Maybe sharing the screen's not going to happen.
Well, I just have to hit the right buttons. You caught me off guard here.
Well, then I'm doing a great job of keeping you busy. So there you go.
There we go.
Yes, I talked about Sheri Berger. I talked about TerryAnn, Dr. Susan Harrison, Marilyn Arnold, Kathy Weaver, Kim Myers, and Judy Logner. So there's our group. It'll be awesome. And the good news, like you said, is if you miss any of them, you can go back and rewatch them. Or if you love what they said and you want to go back and watch them. And TerryAnn, our one and only, will be making them in little sessions. So it'll be very easy to go back and rewatch all this. So I'm very, very excited. I want to thank all of our speakers, of course. And of course, I want to thank this community here. But I know that the community asked us to go out and find resources and bring more resources. So we decided to put the Z Summit together. So I'm very, very excited about that. I hope that you guys will have a non-stressful week. We have 4th of July coming up too, TerryAnn.
Yes, we do.
I know. So you got some time for downtime with that. Here's TerryAnn with her 4th of July crown. There you go. So we got 4th of July coming up this weekend, which is going to be great. But what will we be speaking on next week, TerryAnn?
Next week, we're going to talk about creating joy in your life. We've planned the next couple of months throughout the month of July. We're going to talk about creating these things in your life. And in August, creating them in your business. And in September, let's combine them. So next week, creating joy in your life. What brings you joy?
Oh, I know what brings me joy. Oh, wait, you don't want to know.
Well, that's your grandson.
I'm a grandma. What's your superpower? I'm sorry, but I had to say it. Sorry.
And then until next week, make it a great week.
Bye, guys. Don't be stressed out. Enjoy the rain.